Cecil, do you know anyone who fought in the war 3 years ago?
I did.
Did you fight here at Vergen?
Course.
Philippa claims you know a bit about the battle.
That old cook insult, called king by some, thought that Aedirnians were bumpkins who'd ship bricks as soon as his troops crossed the river.
Why did he attack Edirn?
According to Henselt, Upper Edirn is the ancient legacy of the Kedweni crown and must be returned to the mother country. Brazen farter.
That brazen farter had a point. If you read some history, you'll know that 300 years ago this land belonged to Kedwen.
Load of crab. 700 years ago the elves reigned here, and 1,000,000 years ago these lands were the domain of the worms. If things worked that way, every king could invade a neighbouring land and claim his right to do so because an ancestor took a dump there.
All right. Hensel wanted to conquer Upper Edirn. What then?
He rolled in, got hammered, and rolled out.
Cecil, that doesn't help me much.
It wasn't a battle. It was a slaughter. If I try speaking of it, I'll see it all again. I don't want.
The ghosts of the fallen fight in the mist. They turn into horrible creatures called Draugrs. Aedirnians, Kedweni, men, elves, and dwarves too.
Bloody hell. No peace even after death.
I want to help them, but I need to know more about the battle.
Very well. Listen. A beautiful day that grew hot later. Very hot. When Van de Grift attacked in the afternoon, he sent the Dun banner at the fore. Many of our lads shit themselves at the mere sight of their standard. But we had a surprise of our own. Under the cover of night, we prepared fire pits. Our archers lit them up at the right moment. I still can't believe we managed to fool their scouts. If it wasn't for that ambush, we wouldn't be speaking today. They likely wouldn't be in Upper Edirn at all. We decimated the Dun banner, but that was only the beginning. Seltkirk was our commander. Everywhere he appeared, the Kedwenis gave ground. He wreaked havoc among them. Hearts rose at the mere sight of his armour. Then Van de Grift himself entered the fray. Seltkirk met him in the middle of the field. In the end, Van de Grift killed Seltkirk. A terrible death that sent the Aedirnian ranks into disarray. I thought it was the end of us. Then the sky fell, as if the stars themselves had decided to avenge the death of a great knight. Fire covered the battlefield. Nobody sought the enemy. They were all looking for somewhere to flee. Yes, there were no more friends and enemies, only the living and the dead. They say it was the doing of a Kedweni sorceress who wanted revenge on Van de Grift. Could be true, as Henselt had her executed right after the battle.
Did you see the duel between Seltkirk and Van de Grift?
I stood half a furlong from them. Never seen a fight like it. Probably never will again. They'd already met once, at a jousting tournament in Ardcarreg. Seltkirk won there. He beat on the visitor so hard he broke his sword. Seltkirk was a true knight, the last of his breed. Van de Grift was so pissed off after that tournament he hanged the smith who made his sword and ordered a special one from a sorcerer. I bet he cut down Seltkirk with that new sword.
Van de Grift is dead. What happened to his sword?
Saskia's got it. Good thing too. Only her hand can tame the hatred enchanted in that sword. After the battle, when the flames abated, the scavengers came. They stole everything. Imagine, not a single keepsake of Seltkirk in the whole of Edirn. His brother babbled something about a gauntlet, but he's a lying dog.
Remember anything from before the battle?
As if it was yesterday. Henselt's troops crossed the Pointar the third day after the autumn equinox. Edirn had good spies, so we were ready for them, and Seltkirk lined up our troops along the hills. Our hearts rose at the sight of the banners of Vengerberg, Aldersberg and Gullet fluttering in the wind. Knights and armoured infantry side by side in our ranks. Even the peasants had their regiments. The dwarves were on the left flank. Over 5,000 strong we were. Nobody caring about race or background, like never before. Only King Demavend was missing, but he must have had more important business than defending his country.
You saw the Kedwenis cross the river?
From afar. I saw Vandegrift leading 4,000 heavily armed men. Many a heart sank when we saw the elite bearheads or the armoured banners from Ardcarrig. The Dun banner was in the middle, veterans of Brenna. As soon as he set foot on Adernian land, Vandegrift climbed a hill and surveyed the area, as if it was his fief. Son of a bitch was as sure of himself as ever. Upon spying him, I remember the dwarves all dropped their trousers and showed him their asses. Then Selkirk stepped out in front of us. His white armour shone in the sun. We were afraid a Kedweni arbalist would shoot him, but they too stood as if frozen, and Selkirk just looked at them and bowed ever so slightly.
You captured the Dun banner standard?
Henselt's choice troops, and not a one survived. The visitor sent them to their deaths, refused to give them reinforcements. He was a monster in human form. The men of the Dun were real swaggerers. Killed a lot of our lads, but for every Dunner, there were 7 Adernians. They had no chance. Aye, we captured their standard. We buried what was left of them in the crypts beyond Vergen. Their standard lies with them. Worthy foes are to be respected, even in death.
I'm going to need that standard. Thanks, Cecil, that was helpful. I think I know what I need to lift the curse now.
Madame Eilhard claims you need 4 symbols. The standard symbolizes death. Vandegrift's sword stands for hatred. What about the other 2?
I have a feeling Philippa has a handle on the rest.
Here's hoping you're right.
I had a dream. We were mining up at the face of the drive like in the old days.
Don't try anything.
I'll say it again.
You hugged a bear.
Humans are
They're all
strange.
right.
Right,
You work just for your elves?
not just.
You don't say much, do you?
And they said you're grumpy. Let's hear it. See, when they're to marry, they become terribly picky.
Aren't you? And you, my love. You trust the girl?
Wonder how many more will turn up.
Who are you, and what do you seek?
Geralt of Rivia. I seek the standard of the Dun banner. Who are you?
Ekhart Hennesy, ensign and color-bearer of the Dun banner, the best force to issue from the land of Kedwen.
You may not remember me, but I remember you.
Where from?
I served in the Dun banner.
Liar!
I fought beneath its standard at Brenna and at Vergen.
The Battle of Brenna. The Nordlings shoulder to shoulder against the Black Ones. The Redanians led by De Ruyter on the right. The Talus leading to Meria on the left. A splendid sight, was it not?
You're mistaken. The Redanian regiments were on the left. The Temerians took the center.
Correct. Perhaps you speak the truth.
Try me again.
Tell me, for this you must know. Who was chief commander of the Nilfgaardians at Brenna?
Menno Cohorn.
I am beginning to believe you. Menno Cohorn, the repulsive head hound of the Nilfgaardian pack, but a great commander. He will again let the Nordlings' blood. Would you agree?
Your memory has suffered after death. Cohorn perished. At Brenna.
You are vigilant. I could not deceive you.
Because I am of the Dun banner.
Perhaps you did fight at Brenna. It was so long ago I may have forgotten you. But Vergen is another matter.
I can't answer for the state of your memory.
You are right. Memory often fails us after death. I cringe to admit I've forgotten who commanded the armies during the Battle of Vergen. Perhaps the most important day of my life. And the last. Be so good as to remind me.
Seltkirk led Eddern. Vandergrift led us.
Well done. Not all know that. Some believe that the kings commanded the armies during the battle, or that their mages did.
Do you believe me yet?
Not yet. But I shall when you tell me how you survived the massacre at Vergen.
Most of the Dun died. The survivors withdrew south. The fires blocked our way back to our lines and we fell into Biggerhorn's trap.
I know, the cowardly bastard. You have proven that you served in the Dun banner.
May I take the standard?
Why do you desire it so?
It will help me lift a curse.
Curses are of no import to me.
This one should be. It has stopped King Henselt's army from advancing.
The unicorn has returned.
He stands at Vergen's gates. With your help, he'll avenge the Dun banner.
The standard lies in the sarcophagus. Take it. You will also find the sword of Colonel Gondor. Now it is yours.
Thank you.
Where have you left your mount?
There are no horses here.
True. I would gladly drink with a brother from Brenna, but I am an unfettered soul. Strong drink means nothing, tastes of nothing. Perhaps I miss that most in death. Guard the standard. I grasped it firmly even as they cut me down.